Hello students, hello friends, myself Sudhir Kumar Arora and I am speaking from IIMT College of Pharmacy, Greater Noida. I am working as an associate professor in IIMT College of Pharmacy for more than a decade and I am taking care of subject pharmaceutical analysis. So friends, in pharmaceutical analysis generally what we go for qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis. Basically it is a subject which helps us to know how we can detect the quantity or identify a particular substance in a given sample. So as you know, quality control is very important sector in each and every kind of field, whether it is pharmacy, whether it is food industry. So in pharmacy as well, quality control is very essential. For that, we take help of a subject that is called as pharmaceutical analysis. In friends, in pharmaceutical analysis, we have lot of techniques which are being used to serve this purpose, which I have just shared that we go for quality control. So precipitation titration. Basically, if I talk about a titration is a process or a technique which is used for the same purpose. So today we will focus on precipitation titration friends. So let us go ahead. First, I would like to share about basics of titration. Let us know what is titration. Friends, titration is a technique which helps us to know about the quantity of a substance in a given solution. Basically, it is a technique which depends on a principle which involve a reaction, which is based on a reaction between two substances. Out of these two substances, one is called as analyte and second is called as the substance which is called as standard one. So standard substance concentration generally we know in a titration, and analyte is a substance whose concentration we have to establish through an analytical technique. If I talk about principle completely, it involves the reaction between these two substances, which I just shared. They react with each other for their respective equivalent quantities. I mean to say that if suppose we take a reaction of any two substances, whether it is HCl or NaOH, we can see here that HCl and NaOH involve one molecule of each and complete the reaction. So one molecule we can say it is equivalent quantity here which is required to complete the reaction. So this is the principle of a titrimetric reaction. Titrimetric reaction have various parameters which are very important, because if we see about the titrimetric analysis, we need a reaction. So reaction between two substances must be possible. If reaction is not possible between two substances, then we cannot go for the analysis through titration. So we need a reaction which is feasible. Means here it is the nature of substance which will decide whether the reaction between two substances is possible. Like we talk about HCl and NaOH, one is acid, second is base. So they both collectively react with each other to complete a neutralization reaction, which is the basis of a acid-base titration. Second, we need to complete the reaction. We can say reaction is taking place, but whether it is completing or not, that is also very important. So reaction must complete between the two substances. So we need a reaction. Second thing, we need completion of a reaction. Third thing, reaction must be paceful. I mean to say that it should have enough speed that it should complete fast. If I talk about the titration, generally titration complete in 3 to 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes maximum. Generally we see. So this speed is enough to understand. So time is very important because we need techniques which can serve the purpose in smarter time, in lesser period of time, or in minutes we can say, or in seconds. So our titration will be justified here then. Last point, if I talk about the titration, that is called as end point. As the name indicate end means completion of reaction is coming to complete. So reaction is getting complete, that point is called as end point. So last one is that we need an indicator to detect the end point. If I talk about generally in titration, we need basically 3 to 4 things. One is titrant, The substance whose concentration is known to us, or we can call it as a standard solution. So its concentration is known to us. Second, titrant, or we can say it analyte, the substance which is under the analysis to serve the purpose of quality control. Friends, you can see various pharmaceutical formulations are available in the market. Like if we talk about crocin, it contains paracetamol. So this subject helps us to know how we can ensure that whether the prescribed quantity of paracetamol is available in that particular formulation which is available in the market for the patient health. So whenever somebody is having fever, they take crocin or some other brand which contain paracetamol. So the purpose of this subject is to ensure the quality control and ensuring the prescribed quantity of a particular medical ingredient which is recommended on the label on that formulation available in the market. So let us go ahead with next step. We'll focus specifically on precipitation titration. Precipitation titration. Basically, precipitation titration is a titration which is based on a reaction of precipitation. We are taking two substances, like we take the example of silver nitrate, and we make it to react with NaCl, which further complete the reaction and produces AgCl. AgCl is getting precipitated. We mean to say that silver ion is getting precipitated in form of AgCl. So this reaction is quantitative. In coming slide we will see how this reaction is taking place, and it is fulfilling the norms of titration, which were reaction, completion of a reaction must be speedy, endpoint and indicator. So let us go ahead further. This precipitation titration is used for estimation of various substances. As we know, titration is used for estimation of various substances. So here also we are justifying the same thing. We are saying that precipitation titration is used for estimation of substances like halides. If I talk about halides, we can take the example of chlorides, bromides, iodides in form of salt like NaCl, KBr, Ki, Nai, etc. Halides are the derived compounds of halogens only, and Cl, Bri are itself halogens, that you know, friends. So next, we can go for the estimation of substances like thiocyanates as well, like potassium thiocyanate, NaCN. So these are the few examples where our precipitation titration is serving the purpose for estimation of various substances like halides, like thiocyanates, etc. So friends, let us move to next slide. As I told you in the first slide that if you see the second last point of titration basics, it is end point. Friends, so we also have a point of the same in precipitation titration. In this, we have three methods which help us to know how we can establish the endpoint to complete indication of a reaction. So endpoint itself indicate completion of a reaction. So we have three methods. Although there is one more method that is called as Gay-Lussac method, but that is not much in use. So we are not mentioned here. That is based on some different phenomena of turbidity. So majorly we have been seen that Mohr's method, Volhard method, and Fajan's method. These are three major methods which are used to establish the precipitation titration in the used to establish the endpoint in the precipitation titration. So let us go for the first method, that is called as Mohr's method. Friends, this is called as Mohr's method. I have enlisted certain points that, as I have shared you, that precipitation titration is a titration which is used for purpose of quality control. I mean to say that we used to check the quantity of a substance in a given solution. That is called as concentration. Friends, you know about the concentration? Concentration is the how much quantity of a substance, particular solute, is available in a solution is called as concentration. So here also we go for the checking of concentration of a particular solute which is under analysis, under investigation in a given solution. The environment used in Moore's method is neutral in nature. We are using neutral medium pH in the Moore's method. Okay, next, it is used for the estimation of halides, like we go for estimation of NaCl in Moore's method. We use the indicator that is called as potassium chromate, and if I talk about the endpoint, we observe the brick red precipitates in the Moore's method. So if I talk about about this Moore's method, before titration, small amount of sodium or potassium chromate is added to the solution, making it slightly yellow in color. During titration, as long as chloride are present, concentration of silver ion is too low for silver chromate formation. So near equivalence point, concentration of silver cations rapidly grows, allowing the precipitation of intensive red silver chromate, which signals the endpoint. Let us again briefly take this. In this, we are taking silver nitrate in the Biret part. In titration, friends, we have apparatus. One is Biret, which is held in a stand, and below the Biret, we keep the conical flask. So conical flask is kept just below the Biret. In Biret, generally we take the solution of a titrant, but in this titration in Moore's method, we are taking silver nitrate solution, maybe of known or unknown strength, approximately in the in the Biret. Silver nitrate solution is taken in the Biret, and in the flask, we take NaCl solution. When we start the titration, we start adding silver nitrate from the from the Biret to the NaCl solution contained in the flask. So silver chloride formation take place and sodium nitrite keep forming as well. Before the endpoint, we observe yellow color in the solution. But when we approaches the endpoint, what happens? Silver ion falls in excess, because when NaCl get completely utilized, means NaCl available in the flask completely finished by reaction with silver nitrate coming from the Biret, AgCl is formed. So if we have finished the NaCl, then if we add silver nitrate, the silver ion will be in excess. Silver ion will be reacting with the indicator available in the flask. Silver ion react with the chromate anion for doing the formation of, resulting in the formation of silver chromate. So silver chromate, once formed, it produces brick red precipitate in the flask. So this brick red precipitate indicate the endpoint. So let us see the bottom part of this slide. During the titration, as long as chloride ion are present, means when we are doing the first reaction where silver nitrate is reacting with NaCl, so at that time when the endpoint has not reached, before that we say as long as chloride are present. So chloride must be present at that time. So it will keep reacting with the silver ion forming the AgCl. So let us move to next. When concentration of silver ion is too low for silver chromate, means silver ion is very much low, it will not react with silver chromate. So silver chromate formation will not take place because it cannot exceed the solubility product of silver chromate. Chloride ion initially are very high in concentration. If we calculate the concentration of chloride ion and multiply it by silver ion concentration, the Ksp value of AgCl will exceed first, so silver chloride precipitate will form first. It will keep forming. So at the end phase, when silver ion is in excess, so silver ion react with chromate anion forming the Ag2Cr4, that is called as silver chromate, which is brick red in color, and it clearly indicates the end point. So let us move to the method that is called as Volhard method. But before going to Volhard method, I would like to share few disadvantages, few limitations of the Mohers method. We cannot use, friends, acidic medium in the Mohers method. Because if we use acidic medium, you know about the acid, what it gives. It gives protons. Proton can react with the chromate anion to produce salt of hydrogen chromate. Hydrogen chromate is a weak electrolyte. And friends, a weak electrolyte is very poorly reversible. It cannot release back chromate anion. And friends, you know, if chromate anion will not be available, so at the end point, how silver ion can react with chromate ion? So we need chromate anion to be available at the end point to react with excess of silver ion falling from the birette to produce Ag2CrO4. So if we take acidic medium, chromate anion will be blocked by reaction with hydrogen ion coming from acidic medium to produce hydrogen chromate, which is a weaker electrolyte. And chromate anion will not be available at the end point to make brick red PPT. So acidic medium we have to avoid in this. And we cannot go for estimation of iodide with this method, and we cannot even use alkaline medium too, because in alkaline medium silver hydroxide will be precipitated first, so hampering the reaction and all process. So now let us move to next method, which is called as Volhard method. Volhard method was discovered by a scientist whose name was Volhard only. Therefore, the name of Volhard method is given the same name. This is a second method. This is a alternative method which is used for detection of endpoint in the precipitation titration. Volhard method is a technique or a procedure which is used for titrating silver with standard potassium thiocyanate. I mean to say that if we want to estimate thiocyanate, we can go for Volhard method very easily. Volhard method says that when the silver ion has been precipitated as white silver thiocyanate, the first access of titrant, mean to say that silver nitrate, into the flask, the iron 3 salt, that is called as ferric alum indicator, react and form a soluble red complex. The red complex formation is take place. So Volhard method involve following things. First, I talk about environment of Volhard method. We need we need acidic environment to conduct this method. We can use silver nitrate in this method for having acidic medium. We go for estimation of halides by Volhard method. We can go for estimation of thiocyanate by Volhard method. If I talk about the halides, we use the technique of back titration in the halides estimation by Volhard method. If I talk about thiocyanates, if we talk about thiocyanates, we go for technique of direct titration. So there are two ways to use the Volhard method for serving the purpose of estimation of substances like halides and thiocyanates, back titration and direct titration. The indicator used here is iron 3 salt, which is called as ferric alum in this titration, which later on at the end point react with silver ion to produce a red color complex. So end point itself indicate red color again, so which is indicating the completion of reaction of the titration which is undergoing. So Volhard method use ferric alum as an indicator for estimation of halides or thiocyanates in the acidic medium for estimation of substances. So let's move to next slide. It shows the reaction between silver nitrate and potassium thiocyanate. So some error is taken place here. So it is KSCN, friends. So AgNO3 react with KSCN and silver thiocyanate formation take place plus KNO3 formation occur, and if I correct here, so it is AgSCN and KNO3. If I talk about precipitation titration, when excess of silver nitrate fall into the conical flask, then excess silver ion reaction with the indicator to make blue color complex. Indicator is salt of iron 3. In this, we take silver nitrate in the burette, we take potassium thiocyanate in the flask, and silver nitrate start reacting with potassium thiocyanate. When reaction between these two complete, silver nitrate keep falling into the burette, into the flask, and silver ion is in excess, which react with iron 3 salt, which is called as ferric alum, to produce red color complex, which indicate the Volhard method, which indicate the endpoint through Volhard method. So Volhard method comprises reaction of silver nitrate, which is available in the burette, with potassium thiocyanate available in the flask, and forming the silver thiocyanate and KNO3, and at the end point our iron 3 salt, which is called as ferric alum, react with excess of silver ion falling into the flask after completion of silver nitrate and KCN, producing the red color complex. So this was Volhard method, and we have seen that Volhard method is used for estimation of halides and thiocyanates. So friends, I would like to briefly share about Fajan's method as well. Fajan's method is a method which is a third technique to establish the end point of a precipitation titration. Friends, Fajan's method uses indicator like organic dyes, like fluorosinate salts being used as organic dyes. We use for estimation of halides. Experimental conditions are like similar, and here color changes take place at the end point, like we are using fluorosinate dye, and halides like iodides, chlorides, bromides can be estimated using silver ion. We use neutral or weakly basic medium, and there can be yellow, green or pinkish color at the end point. In this, what we do, when the reaction start, in this, what I would like to share that we are taking silver nitrate in the burette, and we are taking sodium chloride in the flask. So when the reaction start, the precipitate of silver chloride formation take place. So silver chloride formation is taking place, its precipitates are available, which attracts the family ions, either silver ion or chloride ion. Friends, initially you know chloride and ion are in excess in the flask. So AgCl start attracting silver ion around it and make a primary layer of chloride anion around AgCl. So slowly around AgCl, Cl ion layer takes place, and around Cl we have a secondary layer counter ion which is opposite in charge, and whatever available in the flask that can be stick to this Cl layer. It can be, if I talk about the counter ion, positive charge ion, sodium ion is more in number available in the flask, silver ion coming from the burette, which is lesser in number. So sodium ion will be attracted to the primary layer of silver ion, chloride ions. So AgCl will be in the center, Cl will be the around layer, first layer, which is called as primary layer, and after that there will be Na plus layer, and this can attract nitrate ion maximum further as a next layer. But once the endpoint is achieved, you will see that Cl ions are finished slowly. When Cl ions are slowly finished, what we can say that primary layer formation would be of Ag plus ions are added from the birette which are not primarily adsorbed, and a positively charged nitrate ion will form the secondary adsorbed layer. They mean to say that we are having AgCl in the center at the end point. Then we have excess of silver ion, because family ion, only silver ion or Cl negative ion of AgCl can be bound as a primary layer. Now we have Ag plus more in number than Cl, because Cl is already finished, because end point is almost done, almost achieved. So Ag plus layer will be formed. So this Ag plus layer will have this kind of structure. You can see here we have this in the center AgCl, we have Ag plus, then we have nitrate ions, opposite charge ion, counter ion, that is called as NO3 negative ion, which are available as a secondary layer. So friends, what we do to produce endpoint? We add the anion like fluorosinate ions, which are stronger than the nitrate anions, and they will not allow nitrate ion to bound to silver ion charge layer. They itself will bound to Ag plus ion layer and will make a colored complex. So this colored complex will have new coloration in the flask, which will indicate the end point. You can see here now on the surface I have yellowed the same thing. Now on the surface of first silver ion, the modified fluorosinate ion of indicator get adsorbed and form a complex with new color to indicate the end point. So let us go back to the slide. So at the end point, silver ions are added from the birette, which are not primarily adsorbed, and a positively charged nitrate ions can form the secondary adsorbed layer. Now on the surface of first silver ion, the modified fluorosinate ion of indicator get adsorbed and form a complex with new color to indicate the end point, because these are stronger than the nitrate ions. So fluorosinate ions can replace NO3 negative ions to make a colored complex. So friends, so this was the way by which endpoint was indicated in the Fajans method, and Fajans method complete in this way. So let us have a brief review of 2 minutes again. What is titration? Based on a reaction between two substances reacting with each other for their respective equivalent quantity, thus completing the reaction. Reaction must be feasible, complete. Reaction must be speedy or paceful. It has an end point which is indicated by an indicator, which is a substance. Precipitation titration purpose is to estimate various substances like halides, like chlorides, bromides, iodides, or thiocyanates, etc. So method of finding endpoint in precipitation titration, there are three methods: Mohr's method, Volhard method, Fajans method. Mohr's method take place in neutral medium, used for estimation of halides, use potassium chromate as indicator, and endpoint shows brick red color in the end. It can't be conducted in alkaline or neutral medium, or cannot be used for estimation of iodides. So following is the reaction: silver nitrate plus NaCl, AgCl plus NM3, Ag plus CrO4 negative at the end point to produce Ag2CrO4. Volhard method, procedure for titrating silver with standard potassium thiocyanate. Environment is acidic. Halides estimation, thiocyanate estimation can be done by this method through back titration and direct titration. Indicator use is ferric alum, iron 3 salt, and endpoint is red in color. So let us go for last. Fajans method uses organic dye, and neutral or weakly basic solution can be used. and at the end point fluorescent dye produce the yellow, green or pinkish color by making a secondary adsorb layer on the AgCl followed by Ag plus and followed by fluorescent dye. Friends, thank you very much. I hope you would have liked the same, and if any query, any doubt, you can place the question as well. Thank you very much.